My mother-in-law's will left everything to me. The daughter-in-law she claimed to hate. Dorothy spent 12 years telling anyone who'd listen that I wasn't good enough for her son Mateo. At family dinners, she'd praise his ex-girlfriend Lauren right in front of me. Remember when Lauren made that incredible lasagna? She'd say while I served the meal I'd spent hours preparing. Mateo never defended me, said his mom was just old-fashioned, that she'd come around eventually. She never did. Dorothy owned 3 rental properties in Sacramento, drove a pristine 2018 Mercedes, and wore her late husband's Rolex like armor against the world. She'd built her empire from nothing, she liked to remind us. The stroke started small. First, she couldn't remember where she'd parked at Whole Foods. Then she'd call Mateo asking where her husband was, even though she'd known he'd passed. By the time we moved her into assisted living, she could barely recognize Mateo half the time, but she always recognized me. "There's that woman," she'd say when I walked in. Not my name, never my name, just that woman. Even with her mind slipping away, her dislike remained crystal clear. Mateo stopped visiting after 3 months. "Too painful," he said. His sister Jennifer came once a month from Portland, stayed 15 minutes, complained about the drive. Their brother Tony hadn't shown up once, too busy with his startup in Austin. So I went. 3 times a week, I'd sit with Dorothy while she glared at me. I'd read her the newspaper, help her eat, brush her silver hair the way the nurses showed me. She'd sometimes grab my wrist, surprisingly strong, and ask where her son was. "He's working," I'd lie. He was usually golfing with his college buddies. The facility called me when she fell, called me when she refused medication, called me when she cried for her husband Gerald at 3 a.m. I was listed as emergency contact because Mateo couldn't handle the stress. "Too emotional," he said. Dorothy's lawyer, Mr. Harrison, found me in her room one Tuesday, feeding her butterscotch pudding, the only thing she'd eat anymore. He needed to update some papers, he said. Asked who I was. "That woman," Dorothy answered before I could speak. "She's always here." Mr. Harrison made a note in his leather portfolio. Dorothy had moments of clarity near the end. Brief windows where she'd look at me with sharp eyes and say, "You're still here." Not a question, just an observation. I'd nod, adjust her blanket, and she'd close her eyes again. One evening, she grabbed my hand during Jeopardy. "Mateo hasn't come," she said clearly. "He's busy with work," I said. "No," she squeezed harder. "He hasn't come." She died on a rainy Thursday. I was holding her hand, telling her about the new coffee shop that opened where her favorite bakery used to be. Mateo was in Miami for a golf tournament. Jennifer was stuck in traffic, or so she claimed. Tony's phone went straight to voicemail. The will reading was scheduled for the following Monday at 2 p.m. Mateo wore his best suit, already talking about which property he'd keep, how he'd renovate the main house. Jennifer brought a real estate agent friend. Tony flew in first class, billing the estate for his ticket. Mr. Harrison cleared his throat and read Dorothy's words slowly. "To my son, Mateo, my daughter Jennifer, and my son Tony, I leave my collection of family photos and my love." Mateo laughed, thinking there was more coming. "To the woman who sat with me when my own children couldn't bear to see me fade, who never once called me by my first name out of respect, even when I couldn't remember hers, who showed me kindness I never gave her. I leave the remainder of my estate." The room erupted, Mateo demanding a competency evaluation, Jennifer screaming about manipulation and elder abuse, Tony already on the phone with his lawyer. But Dorothy's attorney had videos, 3 of them, dated conversations where she explained her decision with perfect clarity. The attorney started the first video, and Dorothy's face filled the screen. She looked directly at the camera and said, "If you're watching this, I'm gone, and I can finally tell the truth about Gerald's death." My hands went numb. Gerald had died of a heart attack 15 years ago, sudden and unexpected. Dorothy continued, "My children thought I didn't know about the life insurance policy they took out, thought I didn't notice the new medication bottles that appeared in our bathroom." I looked at Mateo and his siblings, their faces frozen in terror. "Play the rest," I said to Mr. Harrison, my voice steady even though my heart was pounding. "Play all of it." Jennifer jumped up from her chair. "This is complete bullshit. She was losing her mind. You can't." "Sit down," Mr. Harrison said quietly. He wasn't asking. Tony was already backing toward the door, his expensive shoes clicking on the hardwood floor. "I don't have to listen to this. I'm leaving." "If you walk out that door, Mr. Crawford," Mr. Harrison said, not even looking up from his laptop, "I'll have the police here within the hour." Mrs. Garrett was very specific about what should happen if any of you tried to leave before this was finished. Tony stopped. Jennifer sat back down, but she was shaking, actually trembling. Mateo just stared at the screen like he was watching his entire life collapse in real time. Dorothy's voice continued from the speakers. 3 months before Gerald died, I hired a private investigator. His name was Robert Chen, former LAPD detective. I told him I had suspicions about my children's sudden interest in our finances. On the screen, Dorothy pulled out a manila manila folder. Even through the video, I could see her hands weren't shaking. This wasn't the confused woman from the assisted living facility. This was the Dorothy who'd built an empire from nothing. Robert documented everything, she said. Tony purchased high-dose potassium supplements from 3 different pharmacies over a 2-week period. The receipts are in this folder. Jennifer's browser history showed searches for untraceable heart attack methods, potassium overdose symptoms, and how long does potassium stay in system? Dorothy looked directly at the camera. And Mateo, my dear boy, transferred exactly $50,000 to each of his siblings 1 week before his father died. The bank statements are also in this folder. The room was completely silent, except for Jennifer's ragged breathing. Mr. Harrison has copies of everything, Dorothy said. The investigation files, the financial records, Robert's detailed notes. There are copies in 3 safety deposit boxes, and Robert himself has a set with instructions to deliver them to the district attorney if anything happens to the woman I'm leaving my estate to. The video ended. Mr. Harrison closed his laptop. "You lying bitch!" Jennifer screamed, and she lunged across the conference table at me. I stumbled backward, my chair tipping over, and she grabbed for my purse where she must have thought the USB drive was. "Give me that! Give me the evidence!" Mr. Harrison stepped between us. "Ms. Garrett, I strongly suggest you sit down. She made this all up." Jennifer's face was bright red, tears streaming down her cheeks. "Mom was crazy. She didn't know what she was saying. The investigation was completed 3 months before Mr. Garrett's death," Mr. Harrison said calmly. "Mrs. Garrett was fully competent at that time, as verified by 3 separate doctors. And as I mentioned, there are copies in 3 safety deposit boxes." He adjusted his glasses. "1 in Wells Fargo, 1 in Bank of America, and 1 in a private vault whose location only I know." Tony's phone was out. He was typing frantically, his thumbs flying across the screen. "This is going on Facebook," he muttered. "Everyone's going to know what kind of person you are. Manipulating a dying old woman, probably poisoned her mind against us, isolated her." My phone started buzzing before he even finished. Notifications flooding in. He'd tagged me, Mateo, Jennifer, Mr. Harrison, and what looked like every single person we'd ever known. "Manipulative daughter-in-law convinces elderly woman with dementia to cut out her own children," I read aloud from his post. "Turned her against her family in her final months. Preyed on her when she was most vulnerable. This woman is dangerous." He'd even tagged my employer, Dr. Reeves from the dental office where I worked as a hygienist. Mateo stood up. "I'm done here." He looked at me with something between rage and disgust. "I hope you're happy." He walked out, just left, didn't even wait to hear what else Mr. Harrison had to say. I got home around 6 p.m. to find Mateo's truck in the driveway and the front door wide open. I could hear him before I even got inside. "You fucking ruined everything." His voice was coming from our bedroom. I walked in to find him throwing clothes into garbage, bags, yanking stuff out of drawers so hard one of them came completely off its track. "Mateo, don't," he said, holding up one hand. "Don't you dare try to justify this." "I didn't do anything," I said. "Your mother made her own choices." "My mother had dementia." He threw a bag across the room. It hit the wall and split open, t-shirts spilling everywhere. "She didn't know what she was doing. But you knew exactly what you were doing. Visiting her 3 times a week, feeding her pudding, brushing her hair." He said it like it was something disgusting. "You manipulated her." "I took care of her because no one else would." "Oh, right, because you're such a saint." He laughed, but there was nothing funny about it. "You want to know something?" I knew. My stomach dropped. "Knew what?" "About Tony and Jennifer." He stopped packing and looked right at me. "I knew they were taking care of the Gerald problem. I gave them the money. But I swear to God, I never thought they'd actually go through with it. I thought they were just gonna scare him or something. Make him change the beneficiary on his life insurance." I felt like I'd been punched. "You knew they were going to kill him?" "I didn't know." He picked up a lamp and threw it. It shattered against the dresser. "I thought they were going to talk to him. That's what they told me. Just convince him to change some paperwork. But then he died, and I realized, but it was too late by then." His hands were shaking. "And you know what? We would have gotten away with it if you hadn't wormed your way into my mother's life." "You need to leave," I said quietly. "Oh, I'm leaving, but first you're going to sign over the inheritance." He pulled papers out of his back pocket. "Everything. The properties, the money, all of it. Or I'm going to tell everyone you forced my mother to change her will. I'll make your life a living hell." I pulled out my phone and held it up. The voice memo app was recording. Had been recording since I walked in the door. "What are you?" His face went white. "You're recording me?" "I've been recording every conversation since the will reading," I said. "Every threat, every admission. It's all backed up to the cloud." He stared at me for a long moment. Then he grabbed the rest of his stuff and left. I heard his truck peel out of the driveway 10 minutes later. I called Mr. Harrison that night. "I need to set up a meeting with all 3 of them. Are you sure that's wise?" "I have a recording," I said. "Mateo admitted he knew about the murder. He gave them the money. I think I can use it. There was a long pause. What exactly are you planning? I'm going to give them a choice. They can confess on video, for my personal records only, and I'll give each of them $100,000 and keep the properties. Or I release everything to the district attorney. Mr. Harrison sighed. I'll set it up. We met at Dorothy's main house 2 days later, the one she'd lived in with Gerald, the one with the perfect garden and the chandelier in the foyer that she'd bought at an estate sale for $3,000, the one Mateo had been planning to renovate. They all showed up. I actually wasn't sure they would, but I guess the promise of money was too good to pass up. Let me get this straight, Tony said. He was sitting on the leather couch, arms crossed. You want us to confess to murder on camera, and in exchange you'll give us each $100,000, and you keep the properties, Jennifer added. She'd been crying again. Her eyes were red and puffy. Properties that should be ours. The properties your mother wanted me to have, I corrected. But yes, you confess on video, the video stays with me and is never released unless you come after me legally. You get the money and we all go our separate ways. And if we don't, Mateo asked. He was standing by the window, looking out at the garden. I held up my phone. Then Mr. Harrison sends everything to the DA's office first thing tomorrow morning. The investigation files, the financial records, the video of your mother explaining everything, and the recording of Mateo admitting he knew about the murder and provided the funding. Tony stood up immediately. I'll do it. Tony? Jennifer shrieked. What the hell? I'm not going to prison for this, Tony said. He looked at me. Where's the camera? You can't be serious, Jennifer said. But she was looking at Mateo, not Tony. Tell him he's being an idiot. Mateo didn't say anything. He just kept staring out the window. I'll confess, Tony said again. Where do you want me to sit? Jennifer and Mateo refused. Jennifer said she'd rather take her chances in court, that no jury would believe Dorothy's fantasy story. Mateo just shook his head and walked out. Fine, I said. Mr. Harrison, I'll make the call, he said, pulling out his phone. Wait, Jennifer grabbed his arm. Wait, just give me a second to think. You have until I finish dialing, Mr. Harrison said. Jennifer looked at Tony. If I do this, you better give me half your money. Fuck off, Tony said. The next morning, I had the locks changed on all 3 properties. Mr. Harrison had recommended it, said it was smart to secure the assets while everything was being sorted out. The locksmith was still working on the second property when I got a call from the tenant in the third one. Hi, I'm sorry to bother you, but there's a woman here claiming she lives here. She says she's the owner's daughter and she has a key. But I've been renting this place for 2 years and I've never seen her before. I drove over. It was Jennifer. She was on the porch, trying to get her key to work in a lock that had already been changed. What are you doing here? I asked. She spun around. This is my house. No, I said, it's mine. Your mother left it to me. I've been living here, she was yelling now. The tenant was watching from the window. I've been staying in the back unit for 2 years. This is my place. You've been living here, rent-free? She crossed her arms. Mom said I could. Do you have that in writing? She didn't answer. I pulled out my phone and called Mr. Harrison. Jennifer's been illegally living in one of the rental properties. What do I need to do to evict her? I'll start the paperwork today, he said. Jennifer tried to grab my phone. You can't do this. I have nowhere to go. You can go back to Portland? I said. Wasn't that where you were supposedly living this whole time? The tenant came out then, a middle-aged guy in a Niners jersey. Excuse me, is she going to be a problem? Because I pay my rent on time and I don't need drama. She won't be here much longer, I told him. Jennifer's face was bright red. This is illegal. You can't just kick me out. Actually, I can. You're a squatter. You have no lease, no rental agreement, nothing. I turned back to the tenant. I apologize for this. It won't happen again. That night, around 2 a.m., my phone buzzed with a notification from the security system. Motion detected at the main house. I pulled up the cameras on my phone. Jennifer. She was trying to jimmy open the back door with what looked like a credit card. I'd had cameras installed everywhere after Mateo's little confession. Every room, every entrance, even the garage. I watched her on my phone as she finally got the door open and crept inside. She went straight for the study, started pulling open drawers, rifling through papers, looking for the evidence probably, the USB drives, the files, something she could destroy. She wasn't going to find anything. Everything was with Mr. Harrison. I let her search for about 20 minutes before I called the police. Then I posted the security footage to the family Facebook group, the one with all of Dorothy's relatives, all the cousins and second cousins and great aunts who'd been giving me dirty looks at the funeral. This is who your golden child really is. I typed under the video, breaking into a house that doesn't belong to her, looking for evidence to destroy. Evidence of what, you might ask? Watch the attached video. I included a clip from Dorothy's confession, just the part where she explained about the investigation and the potassium supplements. My phone blew up. Messages, comments. comments, people tagging Jennifer and demanding answers. Dorothy's sister called me directly. "Is this real?" she asked. "Did they really?" "Your sister hired a private investigator," I said. "She documented everything." By morning, the entire family had turned on them. Jennifer's Facebook was flooded with comments. Tony had deleted all his social media. Mateo was getting torn apart in the family group chat. "How could you do this to your mother? Gerald was a good man. He didn't deserve this. You're all disgusting." But Mateo wasn't done. 3 days later, he showed up at the dental office where I work. Dr. Reeves called me into his office during my lunch break. "Your husband is here," he said. "He's very upset." I found Mateo in the waiting room, talking to Dr. Reeves like they were old friends. "I'm just worried about her," he was saying. "She's been acting erratically, making wild accusations against my family. I think she might be having some kind of breakdown." "Mateo," I said. He turned to me with this sad, concerned expression. "Honey, I think you need help. Dr. Reeves and I were just discussing maybe finding you a therapist." Dr. Reeves looked uncomfortable. "Your husband showed me some concerning social media posts. The ones where I exposed his family for murdering his father." Mateo's face went red. "See? She's delusional. My father died of a heart attack 15 years ago. A heart attack caused by potassium poisoning," I said. "And before you keep digging this hole deeper, you should know that Dr. Reeves can see every single one of your public Facebook posts, including the one where you called me a manipulative snake and said I was dangerous." Dr. Reeves pulled up his phone. "Is this you, Mr. Bradford? My wife is dangerous and unstable. She manipulated my dying mother." Mateo opened his mouth, closed it. "If you don't leave right now," Dr. Reeves said, "I'm calling security. And if you ever harass one of my employees again, at their workplace or anywhere else, I'll file a lawsuit for harassment." He stood up. "Are we clear?" Mateo left, but not before shooting me a look that said this wasn't over. That night, Mr. Harrison called me. "I need to show you something. The investigator your mother-in-law hired, Robert Chen, kept copies of everything, and there's something Dorothy didn't mention in her video." He came over with a banker's box full of files, security footage from the gated community where Dorothy and Gerald had lived, time-stamped the night Gerald died. "Watch this," Mr. Harrison said, pulling up a video file on his laptop. The footage showed the entrance gate. At 11:47 p.m., Jennifer's car came through. At 11:53 p.m., Tony's. At 12:02 a.m., Mateo's. They'd all been there, the night their father died. "There's more," Mr. Harrison said. He fast-forwarded. At 2:14 a.m., Jennifer's car left. At 2:22 a.m., Tony's. At 2:31 a.m., Mateo's. The 911 call came in at 6:18 a.m. Mr. Harrison said. Dorothy found him in bed, but all three of them were there hours before. "Jesus," I whispered. "I'm sending them a letter," Mr. Harrison said. "All three of them. If they don't confess within 48 hours, we're releasing everything. The security footage, the investigation files, Dorothy's video, your recording of Mateo, all of it." Tony cracked first. I got an email at 3 a.m. 2 days later. A video file. I opened it on my phone. Tony was sitting in what looked like a hotel room. He looked like he hadn't slept in days. "Okay," he said to the camera. "You want a confession? Here it is. I bought the potassium supplements. But Jennifer planned the whole thing. She's the one who researched it, figured out the dosages, everything. And Mateo paid for it. He transferred us each $50,000, said it was an investment in our future." Tony rubbed his face. "I'm not taking the fall for this alone. Jennifer and Mateo are just as guilty as I am. More guilty, actually. I was just following their plan." He sent it to me. Just me, not his siblings. "Please don't release this publicly," he wrote in the email. "I'll testify against them if you need me to. I'll do whatever you want. Just please don't send this to the police." I forwarded it to Mr. Harrison. "What do we do with this?" "Keep it," he said. "Let's see how the others respond." Jennifer showed up at the main house the next morning. I was there with the contractor, getting estimates for repairs Dorothy had wanted done before she got sick. "You told Tony to send you that video," Jennifer said. She looked wild. Her hair was a mess, makeup smeared under her eyes. "You manipulated him. I gave all of you a choice," I said. "Tony made his." "He's lying," she screamed. "I didn't plan anything. Mateo did it all. He's the one who gave Gerald the pills." The contractor looked at me. I nodded toward the door. "Can you give us a minute?" He left, looking grateful. "What are you talking about?" I asked Jennifer. She was crying now. Real tears, not the fake ones from before. "Mateo came to me and Tony like 6 months before Dad died. Said he was about to lose his business, that he'd made some bad investments and owed people money. Dangerous people. He needed cash fast, and the only way to get it was Dad's life insurance. So you agreed to help him commit murder?" "No, Oh, I mean, yes, I researched the potassium thing, but only because Mateo asked me to. He said he just wanted to know if it was possible, that he wasn't actually going to do it. But then Dad died, and Mateo told us we had to keep quiet or we'd all go down for it. She was shaking. He was the one who actually did it. That night, when we were all there, Mateo went into their bedroom. He mixed the potassium with Dad's heart medication. Tony and I just waited downstairs. We didn't even know he was really going to do it until it was done. And you never told anyone? Who was going to believe us? We were there that night. We took the money. We're accessories, but Mateo's the one who killed him. She grabbed my arm. Please, you have to believe me. I'm not a murderer. You helped plan a murder and covered it up for 15 years. I said, that makes you a murderer. I pulled out my phone. I'd been recording the whole thing. What are you doing? Documenting, I said. That night, I arranged the family dinner. Told all 3 of them to meet me at Dorothy's house at 7 p.m. If they didn't show, Mr. Harrison was calling the police. They all came. Of course they did. I set up my phone on the mantle, recording everything. Mr. Harrison was on a video call on my laptop, watching and listening to everything from his office. So, I said, once they were all sitting in the living room. Let's talk about what really happened the night Gerald died. I already told you. Tony started. You told me Jennifer planned it, I said. Jennifer told me Mateo actually did it. And Mateo told me he didn't think you'd actually go through with it. I looked at each of them. You're all blaming each other. So let's get the truth out, right now. This is bullshit, Mateo said. He stood up. I'm not doing this. Sit down, Mr. Harrison said from the laptop, or I'm ending this call and calling the district attorney. Mateo sat. Tony, I said, tell them what you told me. I bought the potassium supplements. Tony said he wouldn't look at his siblings, but Jennifer came up with the plan and Mateo paid for it and actually gave Dad the pills. That's not true. Jennifer jumped up. Mateo came to us. We were just helping him. Oh, so you did help, I said. She froze. You just admitted you helped plan a murder, I said. Mr. Harrison, did you catch that? Every word, he said. Mateo was staring at his hands. I gave him the pills. He said quietly. Jennifer researched it. Tony bought the supplements. We all did this. Finally, I said, the truth. Mateo looked up at me. What do you want? I want you to stop blaming each other and own what you did. All 3 of you killed your father for money. Your mother knew it, and it destroyed her. She spent the last years of her life knowing her children were murderers. I stood up. And now you're going to sign legal documents admitting that you coerced your mother's affection through manipulation, that you neglected her during her final years, and that you give up any future claim to Dorothy's estate. You'll never contact me again, or what? Jennifer asked. I picked up my laptop and turned it so they could see Mr. Harrison's face. Or Mr. Harrison sends everything to the DA's office, the investigation files, the security footage, Dorothy's confession, your confessions, all of it. And you go to prison. You can't do this, Tony said, but he didn't sound convinced. I absolutely can, I said. You have until tomorrow morning to decide. Jennifer tried one last thing. She started calling Dorothy's relatives, trying to rally them against me, told them I was blackmailing her and her brothers, that I'd manipulated Dorothy, and now I was trying to destroy what was left of the family. But I'd already released a 30-second clip, just the most damning parts. Dorothy saying, my children murdered their father for insurance money. Jennifer admitting she researched potassium poisoning. Mateo saying he gave Gerald the pills. I posted it in the family group chat with a simple message. Your children murdered their father for insurance money and abandoned their mother while she died. I was there. The response was immediate. Dorothy's sister shared it. Her cousins shared it. It spread through the entire extended family in less than an hour. Tony's phone was ringing off the hook. Jennifer's Facebook was flooded with messages calling her a monster. Mateo's business partners started distancing themselves. They signed the documents that night. All 3 of them at Mr. Harrison's office at 11 p.m. Mateo handed over his key to our house without a word, just set it on Mr. Harrison's desk and walked out. I filed for divorce the next morning. Irreconcilable differences. It was finalized in 6 months. Jennifer was evicted from the rental property 2 weeks later. Last I heard, she was living with a friend in Oakland, working at a Target. Tony blocked the entire family on every platform, deleted his LinkedIn, his Facebook, his Instagram, completely disappeared from social media. Make sure to click on the screen to watch another story.